Hi friends. So in this section, we'll learn about cursors. What is a cursor? A cursor is a temporary workspace or a work area created in the system memory when a SQL statement is executed. A cursor contains information on the select statement and the rows of data accessed by it. So this is the temporary work area which is used to store the data returned from the database and then perform the different operations, or I would say manipulations, on that the rows which is returned from the database and return you the result. So a cursor can hold more than number of rows, but it can only perform operations only on a one row at a time, and the set of rows which is held by the cursor are known as active set. So, this is a temporary work area which helps you to select or to fetch a certain number of rows from a table or from multiple tables. Then, after fetching the data, you can perform different operations on it. Any kind of operations: addition, manipulation, subtraction, division, or some updation. Any kind of operations you can apply on them and then return you the results. So when you can fetch any number of results for within a cursor, but while performing operations on it like addition, manipulation, or calculations, subtraction, any of the operations, you can only apply these operations on a single row at a time. In the further set, you will learn about it, that how it is applied on a single one, not on the multiple rows. So the cursors are divided into two categories, that are implicit cursors and the explicit cursors. So what are the implicit cursors? In the implicit cursors created by default, and this is created on the DML operations like insert, update, and delete. So these are created by default. We are not going to write any special thing for that. So this is on the DML operations. You know, we have studied DML operations in the previous chapters. So the DML operations like insert, update, and delete, we can apply it on select also, but that select should return only a single row. So on all the implicit DML operations create the implicit cursors, and Oracle provides a few attributes. These are known as implicit cursor attributes to check the states of the above DML operations. So when you apply these operations, if you want to get something, that how many rows has it updated, or it has updated some rows or not, then Oracle has provided us a few of the attributes. So these attributes are percent found, percent not found, and percent row count. Let's study about these attributes. These are very important one. So percent found. Percent found is when the return value is true and the operations, DML operations like insert, delete, and update, it would at least return you one row. So when you write the query, select star from XYZ table into XYZ variable, then it should return at least a one row. It could be more than one rows, it could be n number of rows, but it should have at least one row. Then the value is true. So it always, person found always returns a boolean value to you. So it would always return you true or false, and the true is when it has the select statement, select into has returned you at least one row, and it is false if the DML operations like insert, delete, and update It doesn't affect any of the row. And the select statement, select into statement, it doesn't return any row. So it will return you a false state. And the syntax is for this is SQL percent found. So how we write this, how we use this as SQL percent found. We'll do one example in the further section, then you'll know that how we'll write this SQL percent found. But till now, till then, you should know that the how you want to write this. The syntax is only percent found. So the another one is percent not found. So it's just opposite to percent found. As you have studied in the above, that percent found is returns true when it affected at least one row, and it returns false when it doesn't uh, affected any of the row. So now percent not found. So percent not found returns false if the DML statement like insert, update and delete returns at least one row. In the above, you can see that it returns true, but now it returns false because it's percent not found. So these are just opposite to them. There is not much difference between them, but we use these keywords according to the code we required in our while writing our code. So we according to the requirement we write the code, and according to that we need to select that we want to add the percent found or percent not found. So if the return value is true, and if a DML statement like insert, delete and update do not affect even a single row, then it returns a true. When you'll write that select star from employee table, let's say, and into xyz variables, then it would if it doesn't return any of the row, then the SQL percent found returns you a true one. So this is the state. This is the syntax. Syntax is for SQL percent not found. In the above, for found was SQL percent found, and for not found is SQL percent not found. So moving towards the third one, percent row count. Percent row count is very important. You will use it in general. It's very common to use it. Its usage is to return the number of rows affected by the DML operations. So it will return you the number of the result which is affected by your operation. So like the any of the operation, insert, delete, update, select, DML, any kind of operation when you will apply, then it will return you the number of the rows which has been affected. So the syntax for this is SQL percent row count. It's very simple. It's percent found, it's percent not found, and it's percent row count. You need to add SQL before that while writing the code. So I hope you are clear with the implicit cursors now, that this is a temporary workspace area which is created and which is used further for the calculations and manipulations performed by you, by user, to fetch you a certain result. So we'll write one example to understand all this percent found, percent not found, percent row count. I'll open a new worksheet for this. So I would write declare and variable v underscore count as a number. Then begin. Here I'll update the number of rows, update the employee table, employee I'll update the salary column. Let's see. We have the salary column in the employee. Yes, we have the salary. So we'll update salary is equal to salary. We'll increase the salary of every employee by rupees 2000. And then this is the update statement which will happen, and now we'll check that if it returns you some number of result, if it not returns you result, if returns then how many rows. So I would write here if SQL percent not found, then dbms output dot put line if no rows has been affected, there is no data employee master in employee master, then it will return you SQL percent not found as true, and it will return you this dbms output, which I will write as no employee to update the salary. First add employees. Okay, so this is the dbms output if it returns you no data found. But if it returns you, we'll write else if SQL percent found. So now if this conditions returns you true, then we'll return that data is updated and how many rows are updated. So if the data set is affected, then we'll fetch that how many rows are what is the row count for which data has been affected. So I will write here that we count I'll assign SQL percent row num, not row num, row count, and set dbms underscore output dot put underscore line as the so we'll get here that how many rows are affected. So number of rows affected are concatenate the v count to get the result that how many rows are getting affected with this. So I'll end if here, then end statement. So yeah, so this is the final code which we are going to execute. So you can see here in the previous we have seen the three implicit characters, which is percent found, percent not found, and the percent row count, and we have all are used over in this query, a simple statement. So you can see that SQL percent not found. So I'll comment over here that if true, then, and if this is true, then. So this is true when SQL percent found is false. So we'll write here that if SQL percent not found is false, and if percent found is true. Here if percent not found is true. So this is the code which we'll execute, and we'll see. We'll add one more else condition to give you the result if some else condition would happen. So we'll handle at that else also. It will not going to happen, but still we should handle it. So for this, I'll write that kindly check your queries. This should be some error in your query. Yeah. So we are done with it. Now we'll execute this part. So PLSQL returns procedure is successfully compiled, but we haven't. It doesn't returns you the result. So what we are missing? We are missing with the set server output on. So now check let's see the result. What is the result for this? Yeah. So now you can see that PL/SQL procedure successfully compiled and the number of rows affected are 9. So we have the sum number of some count in employee master. So it returns false, and the second condition is also true. It has some result, some rows. So it returns you the number of rows which are affected, that are 9. If we'll execute one query select star, we can see that how many rows are over there. So let's open one sheet more and select star from employee master. Now you can see there are 9 rows in it and all are updated. But one thing you need to check that it has hold the lock over your query, because the reason is you haven't right here commit. So commit or rollback is very much necessary. Now I'll commit from over here, but still you should do the commit once. You should write it. Let's see the result if I don't write commit and if I write commit. So I'll execute the statement and we'll see the salary. So now you can see the salary of the employees: 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, and 13,000. So these are the salaries after the updation of the previous one. But if I'll execute this one more time, let's clear this and Control A F5. 9 rows are affected again. But let's clear this result also. But we need to check whether the rows which you have selected is updated or not. I'll clear this and we'll see if it is updated or not. Let's close this query result and then execute it again. So now if you go to your salary part, you can see it's updated. Why it's updated? Because in the cursor, when it ends, it has executed the commit statement itself inside it. So there is no need to add this commit statement. There is no lock hold by this, because when the SQL percent found exit, then it has committed all the rows which you have updated by the DML operations. So in this way, you can learn that how the SQL is working. Here we get to know that if it is SQL percent found as when the cursor exit, then we do not need to write the commit statement over here, and the SQL has and the cursor has committed itself while exiting from the cursor. So now I hope you are clear with the implicit cursor, with all the attributes in the implicit cursor, percent found, percent not found, and percent row count. So in the next section, we'll learn about the explicit cursors. Explicit cursors are quite different from this, but when you'll write the implicit cursor and you'll learn that how it fetches the rows and how it creates a temporary workspace and then manipulate the operations, then it will be easy to learn that how explicit cursors are going to work. Thanks.